All eyes are on the 2026 NFL Draft, but it's always fun to look into the future and talk about 2027. A lot of good prospects. We're going to go through every single position, give you guys some names that you should be thinking about heading into the 2027 NFL Draft. All right, B-Ross, we got a lot of players we got to get through today. We're going to spend most of the time talking about these quarterbacks and some of these fun receivers, running backs, things like that. Let's just hop into it with the quarterbacks. And arguably the biggest crown jewel of this quarterback class, someone that a lot of people thought was going to be the crown jewel of 2026, is none other than Arch Manning out of Texas. So I'll let you start this one off with Arch. And I think it's also important to say that a lot of our attention is on 2026. So for a lot of these players, we haven't sat down and watched 15 games of them, right? I've only seen a couple of these guys. So we're just kind of going with the flow, just kind of talking about these guys with just like a really general baseline of who they are. So Arch Manning, we've seen a lot of. So I'll let you start off with Arch.
That we have. As Texas fans, we know Arch. We've seen every snap through and through of Arch. So we know that if he continues on the trajectory that he's on right now, he's clear-cut QB1. It won't be close because everyone else in this class, I don't think those other guys are quite the athlete that he is. I think a couple guys have, just as good of an arm, but his ability to make plays outside of the pocket, like his pocket awareness is like it's gotten better week in and week out. So Arch has improved every single week. I mean, he had a rough start to the season. Let's just call a spade. But he never hung his head, and that team got better as he got better. So I'm looking forward to what he does next year with a full year under his belt and with bringing back all the talent around him. So Arch should be no later than the second quarterback pick. He should be QB1 or 2. And there's only one other guy I think is going to be in that conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with Arch Manning, the amount of scrutiny that he was under to start the season off was so unfair, and it was just pure evil-spirited. This guy never said anything in the media, and they threw him out there in the Wolves after he had a bad game versus Ohio State. That Ohio State team might win a national championship this year. They got one of the best defenses out there. And, yeah, it was a slow start, right? It was a really slow start. He had a bad game versus UTEP, a bad game versus Florida. Ohio State, you can make the argument he was one of the biggest reasons why they lost that game. But since that Oklahoma game, the Red River game, he has been really good, right? Kentucky wasn't the best of games, but Oklahoma, he was great. Mississippi State, he was dominant. Vanderbilt, dominant. I even think against Georgia, he played very well in that game. Arkansas,
they didn't help him versus Georgia.
No, they did not. And then against A&M, it was a bit of a slow start, but he's really been picking it up.
Yep.
And I say this, and again, maybe I'm being a bit hyperbolic here, but I don't think I am. If he declared for the 2026 draft, I think he goes number 1. Right, I just think he does. Part of that is because of the way he's ended off the second half of the season.
Second half of the season, yeah.
Of course, the Manning name also helps too. But he's got everything in the shed. He is 6'4", 220 pounds. He's tough. He can run. He's very athletic. Just look at Texas A&M. Look at some of those runs he ran out there. He can make every throw on the field. He's got a live arm. He's got some things to clean up, right? He's got a 61% completion percentage. He's got to clean that up. I also do want to mention that he's had a lot of drops this year as well. He has a drop percentage of 8.5%. So receivers are not catching the ball every single time. The numbers might look a little bit better. But, yeah, Arch is he yet again, as we head into 2026 and next year, he's going to be probably the Heisman favorite. Texas will probably be somewhere in the top 5 ranked, and the expectations are going to be up on him. The nice thing about next year, he doesn't have to play Ohio State week 1. He gets to play in week 2. So, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But that all said, he's a great talent. A lot of criticisms on him. He has the spotlight that's a little bit ridiculous. He's going to be really good in the future. Let's move over now to talking about – I'm going to skip Dylan Raiola for a second. I want to talk about Julian Sayin, who I'm assuming is the guy that you probably were talking about.
Yes, he is.
This dude's a bad guy. He's good, right? And
he's a bad man with that ball in his hand, man. Oh, my goodness.
And he also had a bit of a, I don't want to say a slower start like Arch did.
Slow start, yeah.
But it was a little bit slower, right? But as the year has gone on, he has looked just so poised and confident to the point now where, he does have some limitations because he's not the biggest dude in the world, right? He's 6'1". His arm talent is just okay. But, man, he has a really quick throw. He can make any throw on the field. He is a quick processor. He's thrown 5 interceptions on the year. Now, granted, he plays on Ohio State, who has Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Peoples. Who's that
Max
freshman
Clare.
running back they have? Who's the running back they have?
Talking about
The
Bo
young
Jackson.
freshman. Yeah, they have Bo Jackson. He's got Ryan Day. I mean, he's got everything working in favor of him. Regardless of all that, he has been incredible this year, right? He just has been awesome this year. 30 touchdowns, 5 picks, basically a spotless record. And I'm interested to see him this postseason, as I am with a number of these quarterbacks, just to see what he looks like as the competition ramps up, because this year it hasn't been the toughest of schedules. He played Texas. He had just kind of an okay game, 13 completions for 126 and a touchdown. They were kind of easing him in. Since then, I mean, the game versus Washington, he was all right in. The game versus Michigan, he played really well against Michigan. Penn State was not Penn State at that time. Like, this schedule has been light. I'm very excited to see how he plays versus Indiana, and if he does make it into, well, obviously they'll be in the college football playoffs, but if he gets matched up with like a Georgia, right, or a Notre Dame, like that would be some really great tests for him to see what he can do. And he's got another year to get, back into, next year he'll be right back in the mix of things. He'll probably be a Heisman favorite. He's got a lot to his game. I would say as of today, he would be QB1, but him and Arch Manning, like Arch doesn't have the physical limitations. He can make every throw, and he's 6'4", 220. Julian is a little bit lighter. Not as light as like a Bryce Young, for example, but he's about 6 foot, maybe
but
6'1"-ish, 205-ish.
He's on the smaller side for a quarterback, but he has a cannon.
Yeah,
He has a loose arm. He can make every throw. He's an accurate passer. And for a smaller guy, he's not really faced by pressure. That's what I really like about him, because a lot of short quarterbacks, when they see any sort of pressure, like they're looking to escape, on the edges. But Julian's saying strong arm. He's an accurate passer, limited athlete. That doesn't help him being that small. But I mean, we talking about tools. It's like it'd be interesting to see, because I don't think teams like smaller quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Bryce Young hasn't worked. Kyler hasn't worked. Baker, yes.
Baker's like he's a bulkier guy though.
Right. He's thicker throughout his body, but he's still only like 6'1", maybe. You know what I mean? So it'd be interesting to see how teams react to these shorter quarterbacks, because Ty Simpson, Julian saying like they're talented, but can everybody be Brock Purdy and have success being a shorter guy? But I love Julian Sand's game. Like, he's a quick decision maker, doesn't put the ball in harm's way. Like he does a lot of things right, and him and Arch should be battling for the Heisman next year and QB1. Should
100%. Yeah, 100%. All right, let's talk about Dylan Raiola, who banged up this year. He took a step forward, but I feel like in kind of the middle section of the season, he was playing some pretty bad football. Had a 3-pick game versus Maryland, had an interception versus Michigan State. Obviously, it's a shame he didn't get the chance to play the full season, and he'll be back next year, I would assume, with Nebraska. He got better, though, from year 1 to year 2, and I think now as he heads into year 3, I think Dylan Raiola has a chance to take off. My question for him is, can he get the fundamentals of the game down, right? Because there are inaccuracy issues at times. There are times where he doesn't hit his first read, where he's trying to just read the field too much. But this is a guy that, works with Patrick Mahomes. You can see it in his game. You can see it in basically everything he does in life. That he likes Patrick Mahomes, and he bases his game off of him. He can make some fun highlight plays here and there. But kind of like what we had to see with Caleb Williams after his year at Oklahoma, could he mature into being a quarterback that can take the checkdowns, right? Can, just get you some easy completions. And we've seen that from Raiola a little bit, some progression there, but it kind of dwindled in the middle half of the season, especially towards the back end. Can he continue to take more steps forward next year? And if he can, he's got the arm talent, he's got the size, he's got everything in the tool shed. And I think there'll be teams that like Raiola a ton because of his size and his playmaking ability, right? They're going to talk themselves into Caleb Williams and Patrick Mahomes conversations, which, we'll see if he can do that next year. But yeah, he's a very fun player to watch, though, and he's got a plenty of room to grow, plenty of room.
He does. It's with him, he tries too hard to me. He tries too hard to make plays, and I remember scouting Pat Mahomes. As great as he was, he did like that's why good good defenses gave him problems. Like when he played Tampa Bay and played the 49ers, like he struggled because they just had to stay in their rush lane. And he did too much. Raiola has the same issue. Sometimes it's okay to take this 6 yard check down. Why? Because the back can make two guys miss and turn into a big play. It's okay to throw the ball away. That's a good play. But a lot of his faults aren't talent. Like he's talented. He has a strong arm. He's not this great athlete. He can make plays behind the line, make the pretty throws downfield. But what I would love to see from him is just the routine throws. When your back foot hits, get the ball out, it's on time, it's in rhythm, and be able to move the ball like a pitcher. Can you put it high for your receiver who's 6'4", so that the short corner can't get to it? Can you put it low because he has a guy draped on his back? Can you move the ball to either side? Like that's what I want to see from him. I'm curious to see if he stays at Nebraska though.
I know. Right when I said it, I was like, well, will he actually?
Because
I mean, his head coach stayed. His head coach did stay.
He did, but I know Ole Miss is in the conversation.
Miami probably will be too, because they need a quarterback. But Miami's going to be in for every single transfer quarterback. We'll get to a couple here in a second. So,
yep.
Yeah, he's an interesting player if he stays in Nebraska, which I think he probably will, but it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't go. All right, let's talk about C.J. Carr, Notre Dame quarterback. I'll let you lead this one off.
Yeah.
6'3", 210, 24 touchdowns, 6 picks, first-year starter. I mean, he starts off the season, Miami, Texas A&M, and I thought he played pretty well in those games. And since then, he's been really good.
They did a good job of playing to his strengths.
Yeah.
He, like I think he's a good runner of the football, and they played to that early on, made the game relatively simple. And then as the season progressed, they kind of took the reins off and let him play, and you see that like, okay, he has the talent. But with a lot of young quarterbacks, first year starters especially, it's reading the defense. Like times he's seeing ghosts, like he's seeing way too much, and opposed to just dumping it off to their one of the best duos in college football in the backfield, he'll push the ball downfield or force it in the tight window when he doesn't have to. That's why, to me, he's the X factor for the Notre Dame team to do anything this year. They get in the playoffs. He has to play. He doesn't have to play great. He has to protect the football. That's it. Because the defense is pretty good. They can run the football. You just can't turn it over. But I think he's a talented passer. He has a lot of room to grow. I don't think he is as talented as the other three guys that we talked about thus far, or some of the other guys after him, just as a passer. I think he can make those throws, but he doesn't have the overly strong arm. Accuracy is good enough, but it's nothing special about his arm. But I think within the right system in the NFL, he can be a good football player.
Yeah. It's Notre Dame's a really talented football team. There are games where, genuinely speaking, they just hand the football off, play after play after play. Yep. I was watching highlights from the Stanford game, and just sort of like every single highlight was Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price. And those dudes are going to be probably the top 2 running backs of this year's class. There's also some really good offensive linemen on this team. We'll talk about them here in a second. But look, I think with C.J. Carr, he's a decisive thrower, right? He can make a lot of big-time throws. He hasn't been asked to do a ton this year, but a game versus Arkansas, he had a really nice one. Game versus Navy, played really well. Would have liked to see him play better against Pitt. Would like to see him play better in certain other matchups against like USC, for example. They really took the ball out of his hands a lot more and just gave it to these other running backs. That all said, kind of like Julian's saying, I think the postseason, if they make it, is going to tell us a lot about this guy. He has a good size. I do think his release is a little bit slower than what I would like to see. I think he needs to find a way to maybe pick up some speed. But he's very talented. Former 5-star guy. This is his first year starting. He's got good mobility. He's got a good look and feel to his game. I'm interested to see what he looks like next year, because next year there's not going to be a Jeremiah Love or a Jadarian Price to hand the ball off to 50. Well, maybe Jadarian Price returns, but there's not going to be a Jeremiah Love, right? We know that. So it'll be interesting. I think he's ridiculously talented. We haven't done our rankings yet. I would say right now, just kind of on the list you guys seeing on your screen, between Arch, Raiola, Sayan, Carr. I would probably say he's the fourth or fifth guy here, but he has the talent to get his way into the conversation of the Arches and the Sayans and potentially get to that first round pick. I'm interested to see what the rest of the year looks like, and I'm very intrigued to see what he looks like when Notre Dame doesn't have a Jeremiah Love to hand the ball off to. So now we get the really interesting conversation of DJ Lagway, who, boy, came into the year and, there was a ton of hype for him. A lot of people were saying this is the next great quarterback at Florida. This is going to be the number one pick in 2027. Yep. And he has shown moments and he's had games where it's like, that's the guy. This is the dude that we wanted to see. Then he's had a lot of other moments, like the LSU game, where he throws 5 picks. And it's like, what do you say? And the game against Kentucky, where he throws 3 picks. It's been a little bit frustrating with DJ Lagway. In fairness to him, his receiving core has been banged up all year. His head coach got fired midseason. The offensive line has been disappointing. You can't throw 5 interceptions in a game. You can't throw 14 picks in one season. That's just way too many in college. So, absolutely. That all said, he is a really talented player with a big arm, perfect size. And when he's in a rhythm, you can sort of see what you want to see. His issue is he just doesn't see the field well, right? He needs to find a way to progress better in that department. And if there's a guy who would benefit from maybe not even coming out in 2027 and maybe thinking more so about 2028, it might be DJ, right?
Yeah.
I think he'll probably stay at Florida one more year to kind of see what the new head coach looks like, see if they can get a bit more healthy around him. But if it doesn't work out, I think he transfers and he goes somewhere else. I would be a little surprised, even if he has a good year next year, I'd be a little surprised if he went out next year because I feel like he'd be wise to continue to try and progress and get better as a pure quarterback. But in terms of the tangibles, man, he's got them. Like he's got the look, the feel. He can make any throw on the field. Question is, can he see it, right? Can he stop getting in his own way? If that's the case, we're talking about a really talented guy, but we got to see it first. So that's my little quick thoughts on him. Really, the LSU game was like the beginning of the downfall for him where I was like, oh, boy, what just happened? And then he played good against Texas, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, DJ Lagway, all the arm talent in the world.
Yep.
To your point, the issue, like, he just, like, for anything over, listen, people, as a scout, let me tell you this now. If any college quarterback is throwing more than probably like 7, 8 picks, like red flags are going off in my head. Because the windows are huge.
Yeah.
Like they aren't tight windows like the NFL. Therefore, you should throw less picks. You run more RPOs. The ball is thrown behind the line of scrimmage more. You shouldn't have 14 picks. And like he has 14 and he missed games. Like, that's a lot. I mean, granted, he had 5 in one game, but 5 in one game that's a red flag.
That's 9 and 10 others. So
right. So, he has to play better and it's really cut down on the turnovers. Like he has to cut those like less than 7. Then he has to do it again in college. To me, like that would do him well to be picked in the first round. Because if not, what's going to happen is somebody will take him in the first still because he's a big dude with a strong arm. Just like did Anthony Richardson, and then he's going to struggle because he never developed. Like, to me, he needs all 4 years at Florida to get better, or 4 years in college to break some of these bad habits that he has, because he has a lot of confidence in his arm, like dangerous confidence, and hence why he had 9 last year, 4 this year, and his career is like 28 and 24, 28 touchdowns to 24 picks. That's not winning football. Hence why Florida isn't winning. Because if he didn't throw half these picks, their record might look different. The head coach still might be there. Like that's the difference in everything at Florida. You want to blame the coach. Well, coach ain't out there throwing the ball. Lagway is. So he has to clean up like a lot of just the fundamentals of playing quarterback. His feet, his eyes. They are not in sync a lot of times. When they are, you see the flashes of talent. Like you're like, oh my goodness, that's an NFL throw. But that's the issue. It's just a flash. It's nothing ever consistent. So like he's one of those guys who high risk, high reward. As of today. Just
Yep.
want to like him more, but you can't.
Yep, you can't. I agree. I think 2028 is probably what he should target, but if he plays well next year, we'll have the conversation then. Before we start talking about some of these 2026 leftovers, we're talking guys like Lenore Sellers, John Mateer. We'll kind of breeze through those guys. We talked about them for so long now, but I want to talk about Drew. I think his name is Mestemaker, who is the North Texas quarterback. And a lot of teams are going to try to get this guy out of North Texas to go be their go be their guy next year.
He's
got good numbers.
State, man.
29 touchdowns. He might, because that's where his OC or coach will end
Hey,
over
coach.
to.
Yeah.
And
He'll be playing in Big
he's
12
wise
next
to
year.
go over there too. But so again, playing at North Texas, not going up against the greatest of competition. Regardless, though, 3,837 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, 4 picks. You look at the numbers; they're great. He's got a good feel to the game. He sees the field well. Yep. His issue to me is I just don't know if I trust it to translate to the NFL. A lot of what you'll see from him is a lot of quick things, right?
Yep.
Designed open plays. His average depth of target this year was 8.3, right? So he's not really pushing the ball down the field. That all said, he's been really accurate this year. When he's asked to play on the RPO, when he's asked to hit these corner shots, there's a play, I think it's against Wyoming. Don't quote me on that. I think it was Wyoming, where he's backed up in his own end zone, and there's pressure immediately on his face. There you go. Western Michigan. There you go.
Yep.
Yes. And he's rolling out. He's damn near out of bounds, damn near safety. Was it Orlansky or whatever his name is? That sort of thing. And he just slings it into a corner, into a tight window, and it's a freaking dime. I mean, it's one of those plays.
It was a perfect throw.
It's one of those plays where it's like, oh, hey, now that's a little different.
Yeah.
There's a lot to his game that and I'm not just saying that because he wears the number 17, but there's something to his game that reminds me a little of Daniel Jones at times, where
I can see that.
Quick release, gets the ball out on time, doesn't really overthink it, and when he's playing in rhythm, it's hard to stop him. And that's what I'm intrigued to see if he does take that next step and go to a bigger college like an Oklahoma State, where he'll be in the Big 12, or a Miami, a Florida, Penn State, one of these teams that needs a quarterback. Mm-hmm. I'd be interested to see what he looks like against higher level competition, because there's something with this guy that it's like, he's got it, right? He can play a little bit. Now, I want to see him get to that next level and transfer out and go to a bigger school, because then we can start having some conversations about being a higher drafted guy. Absolutely. For now, because he's at North Texas, because the competition isn't the greatest, going against NFL guys would just be a different story. But he's got something to him. And North Texas, they're in a bowl game as we're recording this right now against Tulane, so that'll be a fun matchup for them. He's a good quarterback. He's got a lot of room to grow. He's got good size to him, and I'm excited to see what he can do if he does transfer out.
Yeah, no, he's fun to watch because he gets the ball out on time. He plays in rhythm. Like, to me, he plays quarterback how you want all your guys to play. Yeah, just don't lose me the game. Now, the game they did lose, he lost because he threw 3 picks.
Yeah, USF.
So he's super talented though. Like, I remember him. I remember versus, was it Lamar? He threw for like 329, 3 touchdowns. I'm like, okay. Yeah. Then he threw 2 more, 4 more, 2 more. Like, I'm like, all right, who is this?
Oh, hold on. Here's a game with 600 yards versus Charlotte. I just saw that. Oh my days. And 470 yards against Rice. Those are some insane numbers.
He put up video game numbers this year. But to your point, I want to see him go against a consistent pass rush, playing against better opponents, better corners. You know what I mean? But talent-wise, he actually reminds me, like, I think his arm's better than Mendoza, but that's who
I
kind of reminds me of. Just in terms of like that mannerisms on the field and just how they handle the game. He's very even keeled throughout the game, which you wanted your quarterback for sure. But
so he's a little awkward almost, the way he kind of runs a bit, which is kind of the same with Mendoza as well. It's like he doesn't look like an NFL, going to make $16 million, but he can ball.
Look like he sells insurance for a living. Yeah. But guess what? He can ball. Play. He can. Yeah. His ability, like he's accurate, like at a high level. Like he is a very accurate passer. Like the athlete is just okay. He's nothing dynamic. He can buy time with his feet, but as a passer, like you love how accurate he is. when pushing the ball downfield, especially. But I'm excited to see if he transfers, which I'm like 99% sure he is. But he's going to be a guy. I think if he plays anywhere close to how he did this year, now to me it's a 3-man race for QB1 because he is that good. And if he goes to a team like Oklahoma State, where they won a few games and they make a bowl game next year, like, and he goes 29 touchdowns and 6-7 picks.
Yeah,
he's going to have a rightful gripe about being QB1 off the board.
100%. Let's quickly talk about some of these 2026 leftover guys. We've talked about them so much. You guys can check out our other content. We've done rankings. We've just talked about them throughout the months, and we'll continue to talk about them. But some leftover names that might end up being in 2027, Dante Moore. I think he's more likely going in 2026, but if he goes in 27, a lot of talent there. An interesting name is Nico Iamaleava, I think his name, how you say it? UCLA quarterback, former Tennessee. He kind of irks me as somebody that would want to go out this year, but he's just not ready. But if he comes back for one more year, plays well, he's got everything I think he should too. He's got everything out there, right? And this is a good quarterback class, but he's got the size, the rushing ability. His processing has gotten better. His accuracy improved a little bit. The arm talent is there. Former 5-star. Like, keep an eye on Nico because I know we kind of wrote him off this offseason, but he's still going out there and playing a little bit. Lenore Sellers, who we're 99% sure is going to return, but I'll let you speak on him. That is the ultimate raw upside right there.
Man, he needs to leave South Carolina.
I agree.
And like, I know he's a good kid and he wants to be loyal to the school, but to get the most out of him, because they're not helping him.
No.
Honestly. Just in, like, really up front. Like, he has to be Michael Vick. Yep. Way too often. And he's a talented passer of the football, but like he's a dynamic runner as well. He's strong. To me, he's the biggest question mark. Because to your point, like, he's like high potential, high ceiling, but he also has a low floor. Like, it's like, to me, I mean, he's better than Lagway, but it's very similar in terms of high risk, high reward, because they just haven't, like, the way he finished 2024 and then went into 2025, just no consistency. Like, I need to see some form of, can you do this year in, year out, down in and down out? But super talented guy, super talented.
100%. All right, let's go and now talk about some running backs. We're going to, the rest of the way, we're going to highlight a few names here and there. We're not going to go through every single one. We just want to get to the quarterbacks. That's, of course, the bulk of the conversation. We'll talk a lot about the receivers because there's some really good ones too, but we're going to try to speed through some of these names. We'll start off with potentially the RB1 of this year's class, Ahmad Hardy, who is having a stellar year, 1,559 yards, 16 touchdowns. PFF has him with a 92.5 run grade. He's been awesome this year, right? He's had multiple big games versus Louisiana, 250 yards, versus South Carolina, 138. Mississippi State, almost 300 rushing yards. This guy is a all-purpose back. He is built well, 5'10", 206. He's explosive. He can do a little bit in the receiving game as well. I'll let you speak on him. This is a fun player that can be used in a variety of ways. I definitely think he's better in zone more so than gap, but I still think he could run in gap and be totally fine. This is a difference-making running back, and he, to me, right now would be my RB1, but there is some really good competition this year. Yeah,
like, backs are all about flavor, but I think Ahmad Hardy is everyone's flavor. He's hard to bring down. He's a lot more explosive than he looks based on his body type. I remember I watched this tape from Monroe I wrote it for Inside the Line. I wrote about, like, their top prospects regardless of year. Like, this is their best guy, and he hadn't played a down in the SEC, not one down yet. I'm like, if he's anything like this, he's a problem. And lo and behold, he's better. He's strong at contact. Like, his ability to just break tackles. No one tackles in the NFL anymore. Like, guys they don't practice tackling. Like they use this little donut thing. It's a foam thing. They shoot that. That's the tackling. That's why teams look the way they do on Sundays because they don't practice tackling. So you telling me you'll get a big back who likes contact, and then yeah, sign me up. In the pass game, they don't ask him to do much. He's a screen and check down guy,
He's
which
got some potential though.
yeah, like he frames the ball well and he can catch it. So
Yeah.
if he can do that, and in pass pro, it's more so about playing with like low pass for him. But I don't think it's too much he can't do in terms of a running back. Like he is a strong runner of the football. I'm with you though. I think he's better in zone, but I think he can be just as productive in a gap scheme if a team asks them to just run downhill. It'll be interesting to see how he plays next year when everyone knows he's the guy.
Yeah.
How that looks
100%.
because it's easy when you're the surprise. Because that halfway mark when they played Bama, Auburn, and I think Vanderbilt, he didn't score, or he might have scored once or twice, but his yardage dropped, like his average dropped because everyone knew like, all right, stop him. Like he was the focal point of the offense. So I'm curious to see how that looks next year for him, but he's definitely RB1 for me.
Absolutely. And then another guy who's contending for number one is Nate Frazier, the 5'10", 205 running back. This dude's a bowling ball, but man, he can run. I mean, he is compact, but he's probably going to run like a low 4.4, high 4.3. This guy is explosive. At Georgia, they kind of use him in a variety of ways. He can run in zone. He can run in gap. That's kind of what Georgia does. They're very balanced running attack. 511 yards after contact. This is a backfield where you kind of see a variety of different guys, but Nate Frazier's like their true one.
Yep.
And he is fun, man. He is a fun, again, he's kind of a compact build, 5'10", but when he hits that hole, he hits it and he can move, right? He's shifty. He reads the field well. I think there's room for him to grow as an overall player, but man,
Yeah.
if his role continues to increase, this is a guy that, we might be having some round one conversations about too. He's the prototypical, he could be used as a 3-down back. I want to see him be more involved in the passing game still, but man, this is a guy that I buy into quite a bit. He's a really solid player in my opinion.
I'm with you. And that's what kind of makes his season frustrating for me because, like, you saw all the same stuff early in the year, but versus Marshall, he had 40 yards.
Yeah.
Austin P had 69 yards. I'm sitting there like, what's the issue? Because he got an SEC play and it picked up. Like, his production picked up. He scored more. He looked like a better player. So, no, I'm a big fan of Nate Frazier. Like, he's a patient runner who has late explosion. Like, as you're sitting there trying to find him behind these big linemen, next thing you know, he's darting out and he can get from 0 to 60 rather quickly for a guy his size. So, if he can play early of 2026, how he did the end of 2025, then yeah, he's gonna have a easy conversation to be RB1 because I think he can do more in the pass game as well.
Then there's Isaac Brown from Louisville. I believe had an injury to end the year off, but he is a bit of a shorter, lighter back, but he is very explosive and he sees the field well. There's a number of times where he hits the cutback lanes well. He's really shifty, dynamic with the football in his hands. And, I mean, his best game, well, maybe not his best game, but one of his best games of the season was against Miami. Like, I thought he was incredible versus Miami. And then he followed it up with Boston College with 205 yards. Right now, he's a little bit limited as a receiving threat, only 11 catches on the year, but he's got something to his game where I think if you get him more involved as a receiver, he has the ability with his size, with his shiftiness. I like him a lot. I think I would prefer Hardy and Frazier as their style of runner because they're a little bit bigger, and I like bigger running backs. But Isaac Brown, he can move well, and he's not just like a 5'6", 145-pound running back. He's not like a Bucky Irving, for example. But, man, he can move, and he can be physical at times too. But he's a fun player. He's got some room to grow. I want to see him get more involved in the passing game next year.
Absolutely, because a guy his size, he's going to get touches, not necessarily carries. So, a lot of his touches might come in the pass game, might come in the screen game. To me, I think early on he's going to be a he's going to be a gadget guy. He's going to get some jet sweeps, some screens, just to see if how he holds up in the NFL. I don't think he's I don't think he's an RB1. I think he's a good change of pace too. But like somebody with
I
a
agree.
with a good lead back, like you put this dude in Indy behind Jonathan Taylor. Granted, Jonathan Taylor can run too, but he's a different style of runner and different build and size and all this stuff. But like he can impact the game. If he touches it and gets a crease, he can go, and that's what defenses hate to see. Like
Yeah.
they rather see guys who just can wear them down opposed to this dude who anywhere on the field, if he touches the ball, he can take it 60, 70, 80 yards. So I'm a big fan of Isaac Brown because I think he has more to show us in the pass game, to your point, Metro. But it'll also be interesting to see how they use him next year once just as that team changes. Because like I don't think he's a heavy workload guy.
No, I
Just
don't either.
on his frame and size. Like maybe he can hold up in college, but why even chance it if you don't have to?
Yeah, we'll skip past some of these other names. I briefly want to cover James Peoples, who had a lot of hype this year, but
He
kind of
did.
got his lunch taken by Bo Jackson. Like Bo
He
Jackson
did.
just stepped in there, kind of took it away, the starting job. And Peoples has had some really good games. Like UCLA had 2 touchdowns, but he only had 6 carries, right, on the game.
Yep.
Right, he had a play where he hurdled a dude for a touchdown. It was a thing of beauty. But his season high is week 1 of 10 carries. Since then, Purdue is his next high in week 11 with 9. I mean, he's had 86 snaps the entire season because, in part because I think just Bo Jackson's a better player right now. So I'm interested to see if maybe he does decide to transfer out, let Bo Jackson take over the RB1 role, or if Ohio State is going to guarantee him more work and be sort of the RB2 with kind of like what they did with Quinshon and Travion a bit.
Yeah.
We'll see if they get that out of him, but he's a talented back that I think still has some potential to make it in the league if he gets a chance.
He does. Honestly, what I saw from him early on was just he wasn't decisive as a runner, or he'll just he'll just mull in behind the O line and just fall forward opposed to trying to make something happen. He was just very complacent in the lanes he was getting. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he leaves or not because are you gonna be RB2 at one of the best schools in the country, or go somewhere try to be RB1?
100%. We'll skip Jordan Marshall. We'll skip Jaden Baugh. I really just want to end on Keelan Lacey from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Having a stellar year, 1,279
Yes.
rushing yards, 20 touchdowns. One of the biggest reasons why Ole Miss's offense has been as explosive and productive as it has been. I would say maybe one of his bigger flaws is that game versus Georgia, where he had 12 carries. He had 2 touchdowns in that game, but he only averaged 2.6 yards a carry. You like to see his game translate against better competition, and if you look at some of his bigger numbers, they're typically up against bad football teams, like 100 versus Georgia State, 138 versus Kentucky, 142 versus Washington State, 167 versus South Carolina, 224 versus Florida. I'll give you that one. That was nice. 3 touchdowns in that game too. But I mean, hey, that's football for you. A stat pad in certain games, and he's doing a great job. He's a really balanced player, can play in zone, can play in gap. He is a really nice, well put together running back too at 5'11", 210. That's really an ideal size, and he's got the frame and the stature to potentially transition to being a full-time RB1 or a lead back out of a 2-back system. He has a ton of breakaway plays. This is a guy that if he's able to translate this success, and I'm interested to see if he stays at Ole Miss or if he transfers to LSU to go back and join Kiffin again, but if he stays at Ole Miss or joins with Kiffin, which I think he should join Kiffin, by the way, this is a guy that we could be hearing his name early because he is a freaky talent at running back.
Yeah, he is. And to me, out of all the guys we talked about thus far,
Receiving?
he's the best receiver
He is.
out of the group. And they give him ample opportunities as well, but like you still have to be able to go execute and do the job. I like Keelan Lacey though. What I love about him though is he knows how to find the end zone. He is going to score touchdowns.
Take 20 of them.
He is going to get in. Right, wrong, and different. He can score from anywhere on the field. He can take it the long distance. He can fight for the hard yards. Like he's a good player. I just want to see, to your point, I need to see him play better versus better competition. Because I expect you to have, 100 plus yards versus Georgia State or even Kentucky. But can you show up versus Georgia in that same way and be productive?
All right, let's talk about these wide receivers. We're going to spend some time on these guys because there's a lot of talent here. And then when we get to the lines, we'll get to secondary in a little bit. We'll kind of speed things up on those ones. But we got to spend some time on these receivers because this receiving class, in theory, is loaded with talent. I mean, we got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 guys, I think, on your screen. We could have probably put about 15 or 16 guys that are just ridiculously talented. This class is nice with it. And, of course, the crown jewel, potentially the number 1 overall pick, if he decided I didn't want to play next year, he would still be the number 1 pick.
Jeremiah would still go 1, yeah. I mean,
this is a special talent at receiver. 6'3", 223. Came in as a freshman, took over the starting job over Emeka Egbuka, and just has backed it up again this year. Looks incredible, right? Didn't play great versus Texas, but...
Which blows my mind. My mind.
It was week 1, and, I can kind of give him some slack. He had a couple of drops in that game, too. But, man, this is you don't find generational receivers too often, right? When I think of generational guys, and I don't want to compare him to these guys yet, but I think of a
Calvin
Randy
Johnson,
Moss,
Randy
Calvin,
Moss.
Terrell Owens, Julio Jones coming out of college. The last receiver that we've had that has been quote unquote generational coming out of college, I don't know, Julio, is that coming out of college a generational talent? I can't think of, Jamar Chase was a great talent, but he wasn't deemed as generational or anything like that.
I think the last generational to me. I don't think he's generational.
You didn't think so? I thought he was. He was a stud. I liked him a lot.
When I think generational, I'm talking the last to me the last generational receiver was Randy Moss. We haven't seen anything like him recently. Marvin Harrison is we see Jeremiah Smith the next year.
Sure. And he's arguably a little bit better. About the same.
Right? Yes, right. So, but no. 6'4", 220, fast, strong hands. Don't overcomplicate this. Whoever's picking 1, they're mad, but they're not that mad.
I mean, just think about it. If everything works out the way we're thinking it will, and of course we got a whole year and an off season to get through it. Imagine being the number 1 pick and you're debating one of the top quarterbacks and Jeremiah Smith. I mean, that's a tough ask. Jeremiah Smith is a freak show.
It depends.
It depends on what your biggest needs are. Yeah, what you need. He's stud. And, the guy next to him, Ryan Williams, who obviously out of Alabama, the conversation was, who's better, Ryan Williams or Jeremiah Smith? It's Jeremiah Smith, right? Ryan Williams has been great. He's been good. He's got a ton of talent. That all said, he is so light in stature and frame.
He's little.
And he's been dealing with so many injuries, and he's got some drop issues. But he is a freaky, twitched-up athlete that I still think has the potential to go round 1 if he can stay healthy. And if he can put together a full season for Alabama next year, who may or may not have Ty Simpson back. We'll wait and see how that pans out. But if Williams can have a full season where he can put it all together, he's got a lot of upside to be a very, very good player.
Yeah, this dude is he's super talented. Smooth route runner. The reason he couldn't be better than Jeremiah Smith is because he's not as strong. In order to be a really great receiver at any level, you have to have strength in your lower body. I ain't talking about push-ups and upper body. You got to be strong through your lower body. Ryan Williams is so thin in his lower body that he lacks power. He lacks strength, so guys can put their hands on him and just stop him in his tracks. You can't do that with Jeremiah Smith. He will run through you, over you, there's nothing you can do about it. So Ryan Williams, and he has multiple games this year with no catches. Played in the game, no catches. So
Jeremy Bernard has been, I don't have the stats in front of me, but he's been a bit more productive and a bit more reliable than Ryan Williams. So
that he has.
But talent-wise, Ryan is up there, right? And
for sure,
there's gonna be a team that looks at him and says, we can, if he has a good year next year, we can pack on 5-10 more pounds, keep that explosiveness on him. He's not going to win 50-50 balls down the field. That's not really his game. But put him in the slot, put him on the outside, have that versatility. He's got it. He's got some difference-making qualities to him. I want to pan over now to Cam Coleman, who I hate making this comparison, but he reminds me of George Pickens a lot.
I can see that.
Tall, long, lengthy.
I can
make some just ridiculous catches at times. I think Pickens has developed immensely this year as a route runner and understanding more of the nuances, and that's what Cam Coleman's going to have to do. He's only 19 years old. He is ridiculously young. And he might transfer out of Auburn to go play with an actual quarterback, which is what he needs to do. And we're going to put the hook him up. Because, hey,
Cam
Ryan
Coleman.
Wingo, Cam Coleman.
You want 15 targets a game? Go play with Arch.
100%. Every single program's going to want this guy if he does transfer out, which, we'll see what he decides to do. He is a freakishly talented player, 6'3", 201. He has the ability to probably pack on another 10 pounds or so, to get up to about 210, 220 or so. And I think Jeremiah Smith is a much more refined player in his craft. Cam Coleman is just as talented, but he probably won't reach the Jeremiah Smith status because he needs more time and development. And Jeremiah Smith has had that since high school, basically, right?
Yep.
So, but Cam Coleman, man, if you can't get Jeremiah Smith, Cam Coleman is a really solid number 2 option. If you can't get him in the draft, especially if you're looking for a pure outside wide receiver that can stretch the field vertically.
Old school X,
Old school X.
Sure.
So he's fun though.
He
Mario
is.
Craver from Texas A&M.
He's
Speed
intriguing
demon
because he can run. Like
yes,
once he's like Speedy Gonzalez to me. Like he just underlay, and he just like he's out of there. He's a deceptive route runner as well. I like Mario Craver. But I have this thing.
He slowed down a lot.
He did. He took off and he was here, and then he plateaued so early. But I also think because teams start getting physical with them. Like to me, that's what you do with smaller guys. You get physical with them, and it kind of negates some of that speed because they don't want to get hit now. So, I would.
He's so light. He's 165.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's smaller
It's
than
tough.
Ryan Williams. Like that's so tough.
How big is his teammate Conception? He's not that much bigger than him. I'm trying to see. KC Conception is 190, right? That's 35 pounds. Or no, 25 pounds. That's 25 pounds that he's got on him. But Craver's young. He is a ridiculously talented player who, if he can pack on, he will put on some more weight. If he can pack on just a little bit more weight,
He has to
handle
get to like
physicality.
175.
Yes, that would be
Where his body
spot.
would max out at. But like, he
Yeah.
has to like 175 where he's kind of jacked up and ripped and play there because anything lined up, like Devontae Smith was the best thing and worst thing that ever happened to football. Best and worst thing because dude's super talented, strong, tough. He's not hurt for his size. He's always available. And that's an issue because now we're seeing a bunch of guys built like him who are having success, but like, is it sustainable at the next level? Because I don't know if all those guys are as tough as Smith. Like Devontae was a tough SOB coming out.
Yes, he was.
Like tough. Like he was a problem. So, Craver's like, he has to pack on some weight and not lose that speed, hopefully.
100%. We'll talk Ryan Wingo next. And look, we are Longhorn fans, but I'm a realist with Ryan Wingo. Wingo is right now, as he is currently constructed, a little bit of a, I'm trying to find the word here. There's not a lot of dimensions to his game. He is speed and raw athleticism. He's not going to win a ton of 50-50 balls. That's just not his game right now, which is frustrating because you look at him and you look at his size and stature, and it's like, man, you have it. Why can't you do it more often? But then there's the drop issues he's had consistently this year that are also frustrating because you'll see at times where he makes a ridiculous catch, not like a Cam Coleman ridiculous, but a really high-level catch, and then he'll just drop an underneath wide open route where if he catches that football, he turns upfield with Wingo's speed, he can take that thing 50 yards. That is his that is his biggest quality, though, is his pure athleticism. He is athletic, and he is well put together, and he's very raw, right? Now, I don't think he's as raw as like a Cam Coleman, per se. I think Wingo has, I don't want to say he's not maxed out. He's not even close, but I just don't see him ever being a really fun, physical route runner that's just going to route you up, for example. But
that's where, to me, like, either he's going to do it or he's not. Yeah, because physically he has the athleticism and the body to do it. Like, he can bend, he's flexible, like he has burst out of breaks. But does he want to take the time to like have the nuances of being a good route runner who just so happens to be fast, opposed to being a fast guy who really anything underneath as a route runner, he doesn't really separate the same way. Now, downfield, I don't care how fast you are. Like, he is going to stretch your hamstrings out because he can run. So, he has to get better at just the craft of route running. And
100%.
And trust his hands, because I don't think he trusts his hands.
No, I don't think he does either. But if he can improve that, he's the speed of this guy, man. Like, just watch like the first play of what Vanderbilt. Was it Oklahoma? He did it against. I can't quite remember.
Mississippi State,
and I think they might have done it against Arkansas. But just some of these like swing passes that they'll throw out to him, and if he makes one dude miss, which he's pretty good at, he's gone. Right, and he's big. He's what? How big is he? 6'2", maybe?
6'2", 6'3", like 210.
Yeah, and he's pretty well put together. He's got to be better as a route runner, be a bit more nuanced. And I think he just needs to play with a bit more physicality, right? But if he can get those traits into his game next year, get those traits into his game next year, keep an eye on him. I don't think he's a first-round talent yet, but he has the potential to get there. So really quickly, we'll just tap on Bryant Wesco. Dealt with an injury this year, but was very productive prior to the injury. 537 yards in basically 7 games. And then last year, he was really productive. This is a really talented player with good size, really, really good athlete, primarily more of a bounder receiver. The injuries kind of do scare me a little bit with this guy, and he has some drops. He had 5 drops this year, but he has a lot of talent that if he can put it together next year, and hopefully Clemson themselves can kind of put it back together. If he can put it together next year, then Bryant Wesco is going to be right back in the thick of things.
Absolutely. No, he's fun to watch, but it's the hands, because some of those drops came in like critical moments or big downs. And it's just like, if you're the guy, you have to make those plays. But talented player nonetheless, but he just had to stay healthy, honestly.
100%. And then we'll talk Nick Marsh, who I know he's on your screen as you guys are watching, is a little bit lower on the board. This guy might be a first-round pick, too. This guy, he's 6'3", he's 203 pounds. He is a really good athlete, and he can win downfield. He's got some things he needs to, of course, work on. Consistency. He's got some drops. I think as a blocker, he leaves a lot to be desired as a blocker, and route running, kind of like Ryan Wingo, needs to be developed. But to be 6'3", to probably run about a 4.3, to have some of the highlight plays this guy has. Hey, Michigan State, they got some good things going on over there. This guy's one of them. He is a total stud.
Yeah, no, he's a big guy that plays big when the ball's in the air.
Yep.
I think he has excellent ball skills. After the catch, he's dangerous with the ball in his hands. He can go. But to your point, as a route runner, when he has to create just like separation and like that's where he struggles. Dropping his weight, getting in and out of breaks cleanly, and then separating. That's where he has to take the next step to be in the conversation of being a higher first round pick than like the late 20s, where someone's taking a shot on because of his size and athleticism. Like, the athlete is excellent. He's an exceptional athlete. I'm not taking anything away from him, but as a receiver, to be anything like, because great athlete, Keon Coleman, really good athlete, but he can't separate in the NFL because he's not a good route runner. So Nick Marsh has to take the same steps. He has to he has to learn how to run routes at a consistent level and learn how to manipulate defenders and things like that in order to get the most out of his body. But I like his tape.
100%. And then lastly, the last receiver we'll talk about, and by the way, there's a plenty more we'll get to. When we do
so many.
When we do our
There's so
2027
many.
summer, look ahead, we'll have probably 20 guys we'll talk about in those ones. So stay tuned for that this summer. Mike Matthews, Tennessee wide receiver. Admittedly speaking, I've only been really paying attention to Chris Brazel. When I've seen this guy play, he absolutely can go. He is a really good athlete who's got pretty solid hands, and I'm excited to see what he looks like when Chris Brazel's not on the field because he's going to be your number one option, and he's got a lot of talent, former 5-star guy. So I don't know if you've had a chance to watch this film. I haven't seen a ton from him, but what are your thoughts on him?
He's so like these Tennessee guys are always tough to watch just because of the offense. Because they might have two plays where they come off the ball and just run like a 4-yard hitch and just stand there. But to me, he's similar to Ringo or to Wingo, just in terms of I think he can go, like he can get on people's heels rather quickly, but it's just as a route runner. Like he always leaves you wanting more because you see the athleticism and you see the burst and you see the top end speed. But we know when we're talking about the NFL and winning consistently, you have to be able to run the full route tree. At Tennessee, they run posts, goes, slants, hitches, maybe a dig, maybe, and that's kind of like, curls, and that's kind of like that's it. And these guys don't multi-align, so I think Mike Matthews plays on the left side of the field, plays on the outside, and that's all he does because they play fast. Because to me, he's a guy that if you can put him in the slot, get him one-on-one, then his size, his speed, you would want that. But again, he's not that great of a route runner, and he's going to have a huge learning curve once he gets to the next level because of the offense. But a good player who just again has to become a better route runner.
The pros and cons of being at Tennessee, that's for sure. We're going
Definitely
to kind of breeze through some of these offensive linemen because, we want to make sure we bring some names up. But, of course, there's only so much you can talk about with these guys. We'll do a deeper breakdown here in a little bit. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Jordan Seaton, Colorado, probably right now the number one tackle. This guy's good. This guy's really good as a run blocker and as a pass blocker. Texas has 2 offensive tackles, Trevor Gooseby and Brandon Baker. Gooseby's eligible to go pro this year. I think he probably returns for one more year. They've gotten better as the year has gone on. With Arch Manning there, there's 2 really good tackles. They got to figure out that interior offensive line. Arguably, the next best prospect, if it's not Jordan Seaton, would be Anthony Knapp from Notre Dame, who started off the year a little slow, which, kind of understandable when you're going against Reuben Bain and Cassius Howell. Since that day, though, back-to-back weeks. Since that day, though, he has been basically spotless. Right?
He's been playing some good football. He's
very talented, 6'4", 300. If you go to Notre Dame, you play tackle, usually is a pretty good sign right there. Let me get your thoughts real quickly on Seaton, Knapp, Gooseby, all those guys. What are your thoughts on those guys?
Seaton is the clear-cut one.
Yep, he is.
I think he's for him to be such a young guy, he's playing some really good football. Gooseby had a little slow start, but he's been picking it up and playing cleaner.
Baker, by the way.
So did Baker, yeah. Brandon Baker, sometimes it wasn't play; it was pre-snap penalties. He was guaranteed to get 2 or 3 in the worst time, in the worst possible time. But he's a talented football player. But the game has slowed down for him as well. And Anthony Knapp, same thing. Like his first 2 games were as tough as anybody had to play against when you talking about matchups. And he didn't play the best, but he held his own. Yeah. Which gave you signs of hope for the rest of the year going into next year. So, no, he's talented. I love him in the run game though because he plays bully ball up front. Like he's mean, he's nasty.
No run for you.
When you talk about Jeremiah Love, you can't leave out those guys because they clear some pathways that I could run through.
Okay, moving off those guys, Andrew Sprague, Michigan tackle, Jacob Ponton. Jacob Ponton's given up some sacks this year, but he's 6'8". He's big.
He's huge.
Foot quickness is gonna be his issue because he's so big. But if he can develop something nice there, he's got some potential there. And then lastly, Trevor Locke, the tackle from Iowa, has not given up a single sack this year.
Yep.
Iowa just every year produces a lineman or a gritty-ass defensive tackle or something like that, because that's just what Iowa does. And I respect the hell out of it. So these are just kind of a brief look at some of the offensive linemen. We don't want to spend too much time boring you guys with technique and things like that. We'll go over to the other side now, where got some really talented players. And, we'll start off with the potential crown jewel of this, Colin Simmons, who, man, he has been on a tear the past few weeks. I mean, he kind of I don't want to say it was a slower start this year, but he took him a little bit to kind of get going a little bit. But in the back half of the year, from like week 6 and on, he was just a difference maker every single week. I mean, just getting after the quarterback over and over and over again. He is a big dude, 6'3", 240. I think he's best when he's in a 2-point stance, but when he puts his hand in the dirt, he can absolutely fly. His best game might have been against Vanderbilt, like of maybe his entire career, because he was just so consistently in the backfield. Although Kentucky, he had 3 sacks, so it's hard to beat that one. But he's a pass rushing demon. If you are in need of pass rush, Colin Simmons is your guy.
Yeah. Again, we are Texas fans, so we know this kid well.
Yep.
Colin Simmons he can be as good as he want to be versus the run, versus the pass. Like, when he decides to take over a game, it gets ugly. Because even versus Florida, like, at one point, Texas couldn't stop the run. And Colin Simmons had, like, 2 drives.
Three
where
plays in a row.
Watch this.
Tackles for loss.
Tackles for loss. Just, no. Like, so that's how good he is. And I get it. We talk about how good edge rushers are every year, but this kid he has a chance to be one of a kind. Just in terms of, I don't think there's anything he can't do as a pass rusher. He can bend. He can run the hoop. He has some power. And he's only going to get stronger. And he's only going to get better with his hands and his technique, because he's going to see so many different blocking schemes, I think, going into next year. He's going to get chipped more. But Texas does a good job of moving him around. He can rush from both sides. He can rush over the middle. Colin Simmons he should be a top 10 pick. Should
100%.
be.
I mean, he's going to be in the running potentially for number 1 if you need an edge rusher. Although he probably won't go because Jeremiah Smith, there's some good quarterbacks. But
you don't pass on Jeremiah.
The guy that a lot of people have been comparing him to all year, but he had a bunch of injuries this year. He was really worn down by the back end of the season. He only had 5 sacks this year, but he is still freakishly talented. Dylan Stewart, who 6'5", 245, kind of a do-it-all guy, good against the run, excellent against the pass. Beamer said that he was basically playing with a broken back by the end of the year. So,
which is crazy.
How much you take away from that, that's up to your discretion. But you can kind of see as the year after that Oklahoma game where he only had 6 snaps in that one, his snap count went down basically to like the 30s to 40 range, where you want this guy more in the 50s or 60s because he's a true difference maker. I'm interested to see what he does next year. Does he stay? Does he transfer? He probably will stay, and what he can do production-wise. But he's got all the intangibles to be an excellent player in this league.
Yeah, I like Dylan Stewart. Big guy, plays big, and he's more explosive off the ball and quicker off the ball than his body may show, just in terms of like his size. Like, he has a great first step. So hopefully he gets healthy, comes back healthy, and is able to play the full season.
Then there's David Stone, the defensive tackle for Oklahoma. This is more of a run-stuffing guy, but he can get after the quarterback a little bit. He's not a brick wall. He's 6'3", 310. I think right now he's got a ton of talent to get better as a pass rusher, because he only had 2 sacks this year, but he had 19 hurries this year. He had 3 quarterback hits. His worst game, in my opinion, was against Texas. I thought Texas did a really good job against him. That all said, every other game, he had a good game versus Bama. I thought he played well versus Auburn earlier in the season. There's a lot to like about his game. He's a big dude. He's got a ton of potential to develop into something even better. So keep an eye on him. I don't think right now he's like a top 10 pick yet, or even like top 20. But he has the potential to get up there if he could put it all together.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he has to get better versus double teams, because Texas was kicking his ass, doubles at the point of attack, moving up to the linebacker. So, good player. He's a surprisingly good pass rusher for his size and just build, but I want to see him get more consistent versus the run. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Next big old defense tackle, I hope it's Eccles. I'm assuming that's
Eccles.
what it's pronounced.
Eccles.
6'3", 310, another one of these Ole Miss guys. We'll see if he ends up going to LSU or staying there. Solid against the run. Pass rush, he's got 5 sacks in the season. You'll take that anytime you can get it. He's got a ton of potential. Only a 2-year guy, so he's got, again, I wonder if maybe Ole Miss or LSU, how that's going to figure its way out. But this is another one of those guys who probably right now not a first-round pick, not a top 15 pick. But if he has another good year, he puts together another season with 5 or 6 sacks and gets a little bit better against the run, sure. Get him in the first round maybe.
Absolutely. And I want to say he plays the nose tackle more times than not, so he's over the center a lot. And for anyone who doesn't know, that's a hard ass job because you are getting double a lot. The center is always getting help from either guard. So, but
he's typically in the A gap or B gap.
yeah, he does a good job of using what God gave him in terms of his size and length. But again, he's another big dude who, when you turn on the tape, when you watch him rush the passer, it's actually impressive. Like, big dudes don't move like that. They usually aren't that light on their feet and nimble, but he is. So, again, better versus the run, be more consistent, and keep impacting the pass game. You're talking about a top 25 pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip Wendell Gregory from Oklahoma State, Jordan Ross from Tennessee. Came into the season with a bit of hype, but didn't really fully translate into production this year. He'll be back next year, ready to go. Last one we'll just briefly mention is Bryce Young, the edge from Notre Dame. Big dude, 6'7", 271. Got 3 sacks this year, 18 hurries, 7 quarterback hits. Pass rush grade of 63.8, 76.3 run defense grade. I'm trying to see where he typically aligns. Let me get the number so I can say it. He's typically outside the tackle, 196, and over the tackle, so he's more of a pure edge rushing guy. Fun player to watch, and he's got to get a bit more production, in terms of sack numbers, but 6'7", 271, it's hard to find those big guys, and it kind of scares me a little bit when you're that tall. I feel like it's a little bit easier to get to your chest.
That's the Keldrick Falk, I thought. Big guy, and I don't know if he's truly just an edge guy. You know what I mean?
Kind of think the same thing as Keldrick.
Yeah, just because he's not done growing. He's 255, 257, 260 right now. He'll be 270 something.
PFF lists him at 271 right now.
See, that's what I'm saying.
And he can probably still put on some more weight. He can maybe get to 270, 275, 280 maybe. 3-4 edge.
Exactly. No, he'd be a 3-4 end. With
3-4, there you go. That's what. Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's an exciting player. He doesn't know what he doesn't know yet. Yeah. Just in terms of how to rush the passer with his body, because you can tell he's always been talented, but as he's grown and gotten longer and bigger, he kind of looks kind of awkward at times rushing the passer. He looks all over the place, but the athlete is it's not syncing up right now, but he's going to be exciting to watch next year, especially as he take on more reps.
All right, let's talk about secondary. I'm going to let you speak more on these guys because this is your forte, but we got to start off with maybe the best player, maybe the best defensive back this year and next year in Leonard Moore. There's a film or a play that I watched just before we got on here of his game versus Stanford, where on that interception, my God, that is teaching tape. He is so sticky, and he is so fluid hip-wise that it's almost scary. He has how many interceptions? 5 interceptions on the year. Right? He's given up 3 touchdowns. He's given up, 26 catches for 200 yards. This guy is a DB coach's dream from size, physicality, hand usage, arm length. It's like he was made in a lab almost. It's kind of freaky.
Nah, he is. He's everything you said. He's smooth. He's fluid in his hips. He has great feet. But the thing I love about him is his ability to be sticky in coverage and not grab. Yep. He's not a big grabbing pull guy. Now, granted, all DBs hold because all receivers push off. So
he's got
they have
4
to
penalties
hold
on the year.
So which is that's amazing. But he's he's only going to get better. This is just the warm up. Next year's tape, if he's anything wired the way I heard he is, next year's tape going to look dominant. Like he's going to be like not getting thrown to. He won't have ball production. I just won't see we won't see ball production, which would be a great thing because they're not throwing to him. But
Yep.
Leonard Moore's tape is really good. He's a really good football player.
Then we'll talk about the safety KJ Bolden
KJ.
for Georgia.
Yeah.
This is a physical run defender who is not afraid to get downhill and tackle. They line him up all kind of across the yard, 312 yards as a free safety, 181 in the box, 100 at slot. Kind of move him around. He's kind of a versatile piece. Again, I think he is better against the run than he is in coverage, but in coverage, I don't think he's bad. He's only gave up 18 receptions this year for 198, has 2 picks in the year. Like, he's also well put together at 6 foot 195. There's a lot to like about his game, and safety is not a position you typically draft early, and he's not a Caleb Downs player, but a day 2 safety, I could see KJ Bolden getting there.
He reminds me of his former teammate Tyke Smith. No, was it Tyke? Yeah, Tyke Smith. He wasn't Malachi because I thought Malachi in coverage was like really good. Now he hasn't been good in the NFL, but that's another story. But KJ versus the run, he triggers fast. He sees it clean. Like he sees it well versus the pass too. But I don't think he's as comfortable. I think he's more comfortable playing downhill, where he can just let off and hit people. And like all these Georgia defenders, what I love about those guys is they will hit you. They're not.
Yes,
they
physical.
do not shy away from contact. They are physical at the point of attack. And KJ falls right in line with that. So yeah, like I don't expect the safeties to have a ton of ball protection. I don't expect them to go high. I do expect them to be a good pro though, because his game should translate just in terms of running and hitting. He does that at a high level.
I agree. And then the next one we'll talk about is Xavier Brown, the corner for Alabama. 76.8 coverage grade, 89.8 run defense grade. Just trying to see, he missed 2 tackles all year. He's got 5.6 missed tackle rate. That's really good for a corner. Only giving up 19 receptions, 2 touchdowns, has an interception. I would like to see some more production pass breakup wise. Only got 4 on the year. Still, though, this is a true outside corner with decent size, 6 foot 192. Really been consistent for most of the year. He is kind of who he's been since week 1, and he's been really solid. He's been good in run support. There's a lot to like about his game, and I think this is somebody who, again, right now probably would be tough to see him as a day 1 guy, but he has another good year. He can get his name in the conversation.
Yeah, Xavier Brown can run. Like teams have a hard time throwing on him because you can't throw over his head. And in coverage, it's hard to separate from a guy that you aren't faster than or that you don't like. He plays with good balance. He's gotten stronger from last year because that was the thing I didn't like about him last year. Thought he got pushed around at the top of routes a lot. Like he would lose balance. He'd be kind of all over the place. But this year, he's a little bit more stickier in coverage. But he can run. Like he's one of them dudes where, at the least, that's what he can do. Like you can't throw over him, so you're gonna have to try and play through him and be more physical. And he stepped up to the challenge in that way. So it'll be interesting to see if his ball production changes because I don't think teams are gonna test him the same way that they did this year because teams tried to like throw it over his head early in the year and it's like you can't because you can't outrun him whether he's pressed or off. He's going to win that rep. So it'll be interesting to see how teams challenge him in the future.
All right, next one. Let's talk about Ellis Brown. Ellis Robinson. My bad. From Georgia. Bit of a raw player that year 1 wasn't great, but year 2 he's taken a bit of a step forward, right? He's got 4 picks in the season, has given up 3 touchdowns, but only a completion percentage of 40.7%, only allowed 11 catches this year. Worst game was against Tennessee, in coverage especially. Tennessee gave up 2 touchdowns. Then the following week versus Alabama, bit of a tough one. But since then, he's been pretty solid. Again, this is a guy that I think Georgia and is hoping to see this guy take that next step next year because he's been good this year, but he's got to be great next year. So,
Yeah.
a bit of a learning curve from last year. He's gotten better this year. Let's see what he can take in that next step the next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's been. I wish he would have had a bad game versus Texas. Like, play well versus Tennessee, play well versus Bama, trick it off versus Texas. I would have enjoyed that because I remember watching the Tennessee game and was like, are they gonna bench him? Because he gave up two touchdowns and 2 drives that game. Like it was quick, but to his credit, he never backed down. He kept pressing. He kept playing. Like he was never really fazed by the fact that he just gave up 50+ yard touchdowns. But with that, you saw a guy that when you get through all of those reps, you see a well balanced, strong athlete who, I mean, really, he can play corner in any system. He can play off. He can play press. And he competes. Like he's going to compete down in, down out, and challenge receivers at the line of scrimmage, which I love personally. Like he does a good job of doing that. But again, how does it look next year when he had to take another step when teams kind of know who he is?
100%. And this next guy, Jalen McLean from Ohio State.
Yeah, man.
You just don't hear his name often because he's only been targeted, 24 times, 14 catches this year allowed, not a touchdown, hasn't had a pick. He just doesn't get to see the ball very often.
No, he does not.
He had a couple plays, I can't remember exactly what team it was against, where it might have been Michigan. I think it was Michigan, where the run there was a run play that was going to get open. He made some really nice tackles out there. He's a really solid run defender as well.
Yes.
But the biggest thing, one of the biggest compliments you can give to a corner is you just don't hear their name, right? If you don't hear a corner's name, that means they're not getting picked on very often. 6 foot 201, he's got good frame to him. Can play downhill. Can play him all across the field. Play him at free safety. Play him at slot. Play him inside the box. If you don't hear a name from a DB, you're doing some good things. So this guy's a fun player. So I don't know if you got a chance to see him. What are your thoughts on McLean?
Yeah, to your point, what I love about him is I think he's a short tackler. Like if the ball breaks through, he's getting the ball down, giving you a chance to line up again. And to your he doesn't get a lot of targets, but when he does get any chance to make plays on the ball, he makes the plays he's supposed to make. That right there gives me a lot of security as a coach, as a GM, to say I know what I'm getting, and then everything else that I don't know, well, it's because he just doesn't get challenged in that way. But physically, as the athlete, he has range, he has speed, he's quick off the spot. So he has all the tools. It's just a matter of can we see it, more. Which playing there, he probably won't. Probably pretty much the same thing.
We'll kind of breeze through these next guys. Next one, Ashton Hampton. Been targeted a lot this year, 55 targets, but he's only given up 1 touchdown this year. So some growth there, but he's 6'2". He's not like Avion Terrell, who's like 5'9", 5'10". So I don't know if you've seen him. What are your thoughts on Ashton Hampton?
Yeah, I mean, Clemson always has one of these guys every other year where he's tall, fast, long, press corner who is going to take some bumps and bruises because they probably have another stud across from him. So all the balls go to this guy. But he's done a good job of handling his own. I'm excited to see his growth from cornerback 2 to cornerback 1 when you have to go match real dudes all the time. But I'm encouraged by him because, to your point, he has size. He has size and speed. Next,
Marcus Neal, the safety for Iowa State. I wonder if he's going to transfer to Penn State now to join Campbell. This is more of a box safety. You want to get this guy close to the line of scrimmage. He is physical, not afraid to get down. He's good in coverage too. He's not bad by no means. Only giving up 1 touchdown, has 2 picks. Only allowed 21 catches this year. But this is more of he's 6'1", 215. You want him a little bit close to the line of scrimmage and let him run around, make some plays against the run and things like that.
Really?
You're good.
Damn dog. Yeah, no. I like Marcus Neal. My former head coach at Youngstown, John Haycock, coaches him, speaks highly of him. So, really good football player, really smart, really instinctive. And to your point, he is better closer to the line where he can stay active in the run game. Good tackler, physical. Like he's your prototypical strong safety in the NFL.
All right, and the last guy we're going to talk about is going to be the BYU safety, who's massive, 6'4", 210. I'm going to say his name wrong. Feilta Satuala.
Ooh, good job, man.
Mispronounced that. I think I did pretty well.
I thought you did a good job right there.
This guy is lined up everywhere. They use him at inside the slot. They use him at free safety. They use him in the box. He's a big dude, 6'4", decent against the run, solid in coverage. I think he's got how many interceptions this year? 3 picks, only given up 1 touchdown, has only given up 18 receptions. You know, again, he's not the fastest guy. He's probably going to run like a 4.58, 4.59, maybe 4.6. But he's big, not afraid to go downhill, make a hit. He's a fun player. He's really smart, really, really smart.
He's going to end up playing linebacker in the NFL. Watch.
If he puts, well, you got to put on more weight. Maybe 20 more pounds?
20.
Get him to 230?
Because he's so tall. And, like, at safety, usually, like, once you reach a certain height, unless you walk on water good, like, it's like, let's move you closer so that you can still be a great athlete, pack on the weight, and then you still can be, because now you can play him at Sam backer or play him in the slot verse on base first, second down, and move him inside on third down. Like, he has some versatility to him due to his frame. And he's a hell of a football player. Like, he sees the game with clean eyes and he plays downhill as fast as possible. Like, he's not terrible in coverage, but that's in college. In the NFL, when you're going against these tight ends who are like premier route runners at the tight end position, God forbid he's matched up on a receiver. I don't think that's where you want him. Just because of his frame, like the way he's built, like he's going to have trouble versus, quicker guys. But I can see him start maybe doing his first year or year and a half at safety, and then he'll be moved down to linebacker. See, he's 6'4", 210 right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to go through in the summer after the 2026 draft, probably talking June, July, August, around that time. We're going to do our summer scouting where we look at some of these prospects, kind of project where our rankings are at. We'll give you actual rankings with deeper analysis of each individual player. So stay tuned for that. And per usual, if you're wanting to stick around for 2026 stuff too, we're doing that basically every other day on this channel. So make sure you guys stay tuned for all that. If you guys are not subscribed, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Once we hit 1,000, we'll be on the road to 2,000. So hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And B-Ross, go ahead and get us out of here, man.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. On the road to 1K. Peace out.
Absolutely.